How's it going, everyone? And thanks for stopping by. In this video I'm going to go through the S.H.Figuarts Great Ape Vegeta. It's a big box, so let's get straight to it. This is just the brown shipper box because it's a web exclusive, so it's just a plain brown box on all sides. I'll show you that, turn that around, all plain. So I'll get this open and then I'll show you the actual product box itself. So here's the product box itself. So like I said, it's a huge box. It's got the same sort of design that the rest of the Dragon Ball Z figures have. So you've got a huge portrait of Great Ape Vegeta and just a little bit of window actually of what the actual figure looks like inside. So it looks pretty good so far. I've got a bit of a ding right here, you can see. It's a bit disappointing, but hey ho. So you got the hologram sticker as well there, and then the usual logos. On the side then, more pictures of Great Ape Vegeta itself. Bring this down a bit so you can see. On the reverse side, so 310mm is a big dude. More pictures of the guy in action. So it does come with a base stand as well. I imagine he probably doesn't stand too great on his own in certain poses. Probably going to give him that kind of pose anyway, but hey, it's good that they're giving it. And then on the other side, more pictures, and then the bottom side, more pictures, and then the top, more pictures. So let's get this thing open. So here's Great Ape Vegeta out of the box. Now again, he is a huge guy. He stands at over 30 centimeters, 31 centimeters to be precise. So he's a pretty big guy. He's a very heavy guy as well, and he doesn't fit on the camera lens. So a couple of his optional parts and the base stand are off to the side. This is the stand right here, but I'll show you that in more detail. But before we get into the figure, I'm going to go into those optional parts first. So you can see the two hands that are already attached to him. Then you get another pair of hands, and these are open palm hands. Now his hands are huge, and just like I mentioned with the general weight of the figure, his hands actually weigh a fair bit as well. I should probably weigh these, but yeah, these are not very lightweight hands, so it adds to the top heaviness of him, which I'll get into in more detail later. But yeah, his hands are pretty chunky, pretty cool, really well sculpted. I really like what they've done with the hand here. You can see the details on the slight tear on the upper side of the hand. Same here as well. And on the other side, really nicely done. Really nicely done hands. So that's one pair of hands. Comes with one finger pointing hand, just this one individual one. Again with the tear. Is that the same as right hand here? Yes, it is pretty much. It's really cool. Really nicely sculpted again. Just to show you the joint, it's a big ball joint that goes in there. So I'll show you that soon. It comes with this one where he is grabbing and crushing Goku. And speaking of grabbing and crushing, if you like what you see and you like this video, then grab that like button and crush it. But this is really well sculpted. Again, you can see Goku's feet just hanging at the underside, getting you a closer look at Goku screaming as well. So there's no shading to the figure itself of Goku, but it still looks plenty good. Really cool one to add on to this. He comes with a different set of eyes. One with the gash on his right eye. This is very easy to just change out. I'll show you that soon. So it's just the one alternate pair that comes out. And then that's his default one right there, of course. Comes with this little guy. This little teeny weeny figurine of Yajirobe. So Yajirobe is the guy that ends up cutting off his tail. I really don't like this character that much, but hey, this is what his part in the story. So again, he's sculpted pretty plainly, not really any shading on this guy, just like Goku. There's his underoos. And then you got the sword. The sword is a wee bit flimsy, so be careful with that, try not to snap it. The sheath is a little bit better, so it's cool that they've got that as well. He attaches to the base. I'll show you that very soon too. Then it comes with the cut off tail part. So this attaches to the butt of the Great Ape Vegeta, and then this is the cut segment. It's a very small piece actually. So I can show you that in comparison of the size of Yajirobe is like that. So that's that, and then the base I shall move. Great Ape Vegeta. By the way, he does come with a full tail, as you can see it creeping right there. That's not attached to him in the box. You have to attach it separately, but I'll show you that soon. It's a very cool tail. It's a nice piece as well. Of course he would come with a tail, right? So here's the base. Comes with this. Actual base itself is just a lightweight plastic. Then it comes with this support here that you just force in to the actual platform. In order to get it out, you probably have to pinch here, but it's a bit tricky. You can try yank it, but it's going to wear this out. And then you get the claw. So Vegeta's butt sits on here. This can move right here, up and down. And then this also moves up and down. So this is the kind of angle roughly that you're going to want him. But around here for the most part. And then this claw piece here attaches around Vegeta's waist. And then on the other side you can see right here, this little bit here. It's just the thing that's plugged in. So this is where you attach Yajirobe, which I'll just show you right now anyway. So you grab him, he's got that little peg hole right there. And there you go. And then you can kind of twist this and then get the angle that you desire. Really, really simple. So let's get onto the figure itself then. So the figure itself is very impressive. I'm going to move these hands out of the way as well. He stands, like I said, 31 centimeters tall. He's a hench guy. He's a very weighty guy as well. Out of the box, I kind of just didn't think of it too much, but when you handle just the figure, he's quite heavy. He is definitely quite heavy. He is top heavy though, and that's not just because of the hands. The hands definitely add to his weight, but he is overall very, very top heavy. His legs, in my opinion, I'm just going to say it right now, it should be a bit more of a thicker kind of build, just to add a bit more stability to the figure. You can have this Vegeta stand on its own, as I just demonstrated, but just be very careful with it because of the angles that you might have and a pose that you might have him in. He might just eventually tip over. And that's partly why actually I had the tail attached, is because it kind of acts like a little anchor, and that's all it really needs at certain times. So yeah, it's top heavy, so definitely keep that in mind. But actually talking about the figure then, in terms of detail, very impressive. The sculpt on this guy is super good. You know, they've got a lot more room to play with because he's a much bigger figure in general, but it's just such a really, really good sculpt, and you kind of saw that just from the hands alone. And the fists, they are no different. They're really sculpted nicely. Biceps, all the muscles and everything are sculpted so well. The armor as well is so good. You might have an issue with this little bit here. Reason for that is because he has a ball joint right there into the chest piece of the armor, so that allows his arms to kind of come forward a bit. His waist twisting, but that's what allows him to do that. So that's why they've got that little cutout. It's the same on the other side of the shoulder plate, shoulder armor as well. So you know, it's not a big deal. You can cover it at certain angles like that. You could do, and then push him in. But yeah, his armor looks great. He's got the little exposed knee right there. You might ask for a little bit more shading in places, or in general. But you know, it's sometimes not having shading can work better, just because it depends on where you're kind of displaying this figure. So yeah, I would say shading would be nice, generally speaking, but without it, it's not like a deal breaker or anything. But again, such an impressive looking ape. Again, all the markings on his armor, the damage, the dents, all of that. Got the stuff, tears as well, little scuffs around his tights. The boots as well, can't forget the boots, if I can show you those. Actually, my arms are kind of getting a little bit tired from this. It just knocked the camera. So you can see the fraying on his boots, there and there. On the underside, they are detailed too a little bit. Hopefully you can see that. Good texture, so just running my thumb over those. So yeah, overall, the sculpting on this guy is so good. Like I mean, given how expensive this guy is and the scale that they're working with here, he's a really, really impressive looking figure for sure. Now just to show you the tail, because I didn't show you that before. So this is a nice long piece of tail. Yeah, it's just one brown solid piece that just connects to the back. So this is actually face down, like he's doing a little boop, and then you just gotta plug it in like so, and then you can articulate it up and down and all sorts. So it's pretty good. Just plug in the cut piece to get the cut effect going on as well. So overall, this is a solid piece of tail actually. When I say solid, I mean in terms of durability, it's actually quite solid. It's definitely not like a cheap lightweight plastic. Probably still cheap, but it's not lightweight by any means. I'm going to keep the tail on him. Actually, I'm going to leave him off just because I don't want it to get in the way. So let's talk about the articulation. I'm going to take a moment to pause because he's quite heavy. My arm's kind of getting tired. So his head can articulate just a wee bit. So he can move up about that much. So when I move his head, I'm forcing a bit so the rest of his body goes up. But his head can move up just that much. Gets stopped right there because of his hair. And then move back down as well. Not really anything on a tilting, but he can look left and right. Tight joint right there, but it's probably a better thing to have it in tight than not. And the jaw does open about that much. Well, because I got his head up there, it opens that much, but of course it closes the more you kind of go into it. His tongue does move, but it's not the best thing to do. You got to remove his snout like this, and I'll show you that. And then you kind of got to get your little nail or something to grab the tongue and then move it up and down. But it's very simple. I'll show you the snout bit again very, very soon. But yeah, by the way, I just want to talk about the teeth as well and the overall look of his face and his mouth. Very cool, right? The teeth are nice and clean in general. They've got good shape to them. I should have mentioned this earlier, but here we are. But yeah, really cool. Then moving on to the arm. So I'm going to do the right arm just because the angle I'm sitting at is easier to do this. Oops. So that's on a peg, ball peg, like I mentioned. Same thing as you might find on regular S.H.Figuarts Vegeta or other Dragon Ball figures with some armor on there. Push that too much just because this was tight. So I mentioned earlier before that his arms can move forward, but by doing that you do get huge gaps on the reverse side of his shoulders. You can see that right there. It's the same with the other arm, but you know, depending on how you got imposed, you can cover that. And I think there's only so much they're going to be able to do to give us the articulation plus the way it kind of is sculpted. So it's not bad. Maybe it could be done better in the future, who knows. Anyway, you just reposition the armor up a little bit depending on how you want to hide that. But yeah, his arms can move back and then forward. His ball joint right here, arm can be lifted up and then like that, and then back like that. You can go all the way around, but because this is quite a stiff joint, the whole entire figure moves. He's got a bicep cut right here, and then the elbow, if I can show you that, like so. Do it again. Yeah. And then no swivel on the wrist or the gloves, but he's got it here and up and down. His right hand is a little bit loose for me, but this seems okay for now. It might pop off though, but that's the hand. So then for the torso, this you can crunch a little bit. Upper torso I'm talking about is a little bit. Let's do that again to lean back. So twice down and then once up. And then leaning left and right he cannot really do. You can twist a little bit to the left and right. And then for the lower one a little bit. You can crunch a little bit more with the lower waist as well. Then down to the leg. And shift to his other leg. So ratchet here up and down like that. And lift it up like so. And you've got the twist there as well. And the knee. Show you that again. Full extension of the leg. And then 90 degrees angle. And then for his ankles are quite stiff, but again, better to be stiff for such a big figure than not. And a swivel there. And then a toe. So pretty standard articulation, but done in a way that supports such a giant, great figure. So just to show this other shoulder armor as well, because the full piece is not broken. So it does go in and out. The same thing as the right arm where you pull it out, you will get some gaps, like I mentioned, but because it's a full armor piece, it's less noticeable. But it does move, thankfully, to allow him some extra range of movement. So that covers the articulation. Like I said, pretty standard. Not good. Not a bad thing. So I'm going to try and balance him if I can, and then move on to changing his hands first. So take off his right hand, pull him off. Like I said, that gives you a look at his big hench ball joint. And I'm going to change it just for the finger pointing one. There we go. Clicks into place. So here we go. The finger point is on there. That's quite simple. And before I change to the one where he's grabbing onto Goku, I'm going to take his snout off again and then show you how to change that. So what you're going to do is remove the top part of the snout, the actual snout, then his face. Now, I'm going to pause here just for a little bit of a moment and cover this bit. How cute is that? That's the real ape underneath. His two eyes and then his mouth. That's so cute. Anyway, so I'm going to grab his alternate face. Can't unsee it now, right? Place that on. Like so. Replace the snout. And then that's it. Very, very simple. Then let's change his hands to clutching Goku, so take off both hands. Now, speaking of these hands, the way they're connected is quite strong and tight from my experience. I mentioned the right hand was a little bit on the loose side, but because they're a bit larger on the ball joints, I feel like they connect a lot better. Of course they should do anyway, but I'm just much more confident in them holding up, if that makes any sense, as compared to, you know, the small 6-inch figures. So here we got Great Ape Vegeta grabbing onto Goku, and it looks great. It looks really, really good. Like it might not really show so much in video or even pictures how impressive this figure really, really is. Like, actually, I knew it was a big figure, but I didn't know it was going to be this big and this weighty. But yeah, it's one to seeing is believing is the best way to put this guy. So with this addition, I think this is really, really great. If they didn't even give this one, I wouldn't have cared so much about the finger pointing one. It's cool, but this is the one that they included. It's a must include, and it's paid off. It's really such a cool looking bit. It just completes the figure overall. Like, it's, if you have this figure, have it displayed like this on your, you know, in your collection, in your cabinet, wherever you're gonna put it, it's gonna be, you know, a conversation starter for sure. Like, you're probably gonna go into a huge Dragon Ball rabbit hole, but damn, this figure is dope. Is dope. Anyway, so I've changed all the parts, well, most of them. The rest are pretty much the same thing. So it's pretty standard. How you change parts on the other figures, it's the same thing for, you know, this. I'll put them onto the base just to show you that quickly. Let's put the base out here. So I mentioned that it kind of sits on top of the little bit that's there, like so. I haven't got his tail attached, but you can attach that later. If you just lift that up a bit, again, you might need to do subtle tweaks to it. Lean back a bit, and then yeah, grab that. You don't want him leaning forward too much, even with the base, because he will topple over. Like I mentioned, he is top heavy, so you want to be tweaking this guy as best as you can to make sure he's well supported, because I just wouldn't trust him without the base on your shelf, to be quite honest. And because it's a heavy figure, like I mentioned, you most certainly don't want to drop this from a height onto the floor, and definitely not onto any person or anyone near it. So yeah, I mean, the base is great anyway. Actually, it looks fine with the base, so I won't be embarrassed to use it. It's not like it's a tacky base. It's a very simple base. But anyway, I've covered the whole figure for you guys. I've really generally am quite impressed with this figure. I'm glad I managed to get it. This guy has sold out. It was a web exclusive, like I mentioned. So if you have not got him, you are going to end up paying the, I think, above retail price now. I think the retail price was probably around maybe just under 20,000 yen, I think it is. I paid a bit more for mine because I pre-ordered mine a bit late because I was so undecided on whether I wanted to spend so much money on him. So overall, he cost me, let's say, £200. I put on screen how much I actually paid for it, but I did get charged customs, which was kick in the nuts, let's say. So if you managed to get him on a cheaper early bird pre-order price, then you guys done well. If you didn't, then yeah, I would suggest you try pick him up sooner rather than later, because I think once people have the word of mouth spreads, and once people kind of show off pictures and more reviews of this guy, then I do think demand for him will go up, just because, again, he's much more impressive in person than the pictures lead to be. The pictures are very good, but he's just a very, very impressive looking figure in person, in my opinion. Someone else might be like, it's not so great, but I really, really do enjoy this figure. It's very, very cool. Anyway, if you did like this video and you want to see more, check out the rest of my channel for some more S.H.Figuarts. Now, before I go, I should show original Vegeta S.H.Figuarts with him, because that wouldn't be right to leave it off without that. So this is not actually the original one. This was the redone 2.0 Vegeta. One of my favorite figures, actually, but I think I prefer the original release they did. But anyway, so this is the Vegeta S.H.Figuarts standing side by side or in front of him. And yeah, you can see how huge Great Ape Vegeta is. It's huge, man. It's huge. Yep, it's huge. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you're looking forward to getting your copy of this figure if you're getting it. And if you can't get it, then you know, I hope you can get it, or can see it somewhere in an event or at your mate's house or something or other. But yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace out.